Hello explorers, in today's video I am going to be talking to you about what it's really like to live here in Malaysia. If you've been following my videos for some time, you'll know that I've been coming to visit Malaysia for the last 10 or so years as a tourist. But for the last year, I've been living here on a long-term visa. The Rantau nomad visa, to be exact. So where I'm filming today is in a little park called Orchard Park, and it's very close to KL Central. But as you can see, nobody around. As a tourist, when you visit a country, a city, it all feels very excited. You're looking forward to exploring. And I will be completely honest and say to you that I was worried about focusing on living in one place, because for the last 10 years I've been traveling around Europe and Asia, and being in one place, I was wondering if I was going to get itchy feet. Yes, my concern was that I was going to not enjoy staying in one place and that I would want to get back out traveling again. I feel this is why it is important that when you are going to settle down in a place, it's in a place that you feel comfortable in. It's in a place that you actually have good positive vibes about living there. When you are a tourist, you get used to traveling around, experiencing different cultures, and it's completely different when you wake up in the same city every single day. And actually I love that. I wake up looking out of my window the beautiful views of Kuala Lumpur and just think about how lucky I am to be able to work remotely and have the freedom that during the day I can do whatever I want to do. My work is mainly in the late afternoon and evening, and I'm so thankful that I'm able to live in Kuala Lumpur and Malaysia. I do feel it's definitely made it easier transitioning to living in Malaysia when you've spent so much time here. I mean, I've been to every state other than Perlis, and definitely that is on my radar to visit by the end of the year. But yeah, I feel like already coming here, knowing how the city works with public transport, is definitely a big bonus. If you are going to settle down after travelling, finding somewhere that you feel comfortable in. Wow, look at this view. I need to show you this view, sorry. Look at this view from here, Merdeka 118. Beautiful. This is a beautiful parklands area. Love walking around here, not a human in sight, it's great. So yes, when you are living in one place, life becomes more calmer. There's not the stress of catching trains or being at the airport on time or dealing with visas, even though I'm going through that right now with my nomad visa, the renewal. But there's no pressures as such compared with traveling full time, and you can just get on with life. You can go to the supermarket, you can find a coffee shop to work in. Life is definitely more calmer when you are living in one place, especially in Malaysia. You probably don't know this, but I went to Mumbai very recently for a week due to work, and it made me realise how calm Malaysia is compared to Mumbai in India. The craziness of the traffic, the continuous beeping of horns, not being able to walk on the paths. Yeah, pedestrians for KL is not the best, but it's definitely better than Mumbai. And it's much more calmer here and I love it. So I'm a little lost right now. I'm not sure where all the park bits are, but I'll just keep walking and walk and talk. That's what I love about doing these videos now. For me, of course, Malaysia is a great place to live because English is widely, I'm not going up that way, they're doing tree cutting. English is spoken everywhere. Language is not a barrier, and like I say, just so used to living here. People are friendly. It's easy to get around on public transport. You can use Grab taxis to get around. I got a Grab here because it's not that easily connected by public transport. And there's just a convenience about the place. Now, I know a lot of locals will disagree, but when you compare it to where I'm from, Leeds in England, where the only options for public transport really are a bus or an unreliable train. There you can see the construction going on. Lots of condos being built in KL for sure. So yes, for me, just getting out and exploring more, especially, you know, around KL and maybe further afield in upcoming videos, is really important. It gives me that sense of adventure and excitement about living in this city, living in this country, and also for me to be able to now share what it's like to live here in Malaysia. By the way, if you do have any questions, leave them down in the comments. What the route is in this park, it seems to go all over the way, the paths. I was going to head up that way, but I can't talk when there's grass cutting going on. So I guess the question a lot of people would be asking is, why did I decide to move to Malaysia? And there's a number of reasons for that. One, after 10 plus years of traveling around Europe and Asia, I was really wanting to settle down. I wasn't expecting to settle down in this way, meeting my girlfriend and moving in with her. That wasn't on my radar, but I'm so pleased that I met her, because having her in my life is incredible. It's like it was meant to be. I know that sounds soppy, but that's how it feels. And I'm so thankful that she is in my life. I honestly mean that. But what I was planning to do is to spend 2 years here so that I could save money towards my retirement. Of course, that's still the case, but also I'm now saving for both of our futures, because I hope to one day marry the girl and to settle down here in Malaysia. That was never on my radar. Of course, I would be lying if I didn't say the main reason for choosing Malaysia. There's other countries as well. There's Thailand, there's Vietnam, even South Korea to some degree. The main reason for choosing Southeast Asia though was because the quality of living. Back in the UK, when you rent an apartment, you don't get access to a pool and a gym. Of course, you know, the cost of living is much more affordable here. I can save more money for our future, my retirement. So it does make complete sense to live here in Malaysia for 2 years and save up as much money as I can, because we all want a comfortable retirement. We all don't want to be working until we're 80, 85 years old, which is the way it's going in the UK with the state pension age continuously changing. So yes, you've got to have plans and goals in life. Not too sure where this park goes, to be honest, but I'm just following the paths. We are getting a little bit closer to this construction site there, so might be a bit more noisy down here. But the nice thing is, all these trees keeping us shaded in the midday sun. It is my goal to retire at 65 years old. And I don't mean retire in how society expects retirement. I will probably still do some creative work, but I won't be working for an employer. I'll be doing my own creative projects to try and bring some additional income in. But yeah, I want to retire in like 12 years time and just save up as much money as I can so that I can have a comfortable standard of living. Yep, no clue where this trail is taking us. Let's see. Does anybody know why there's these bags on the tree? Maybe it's protecting the plants that are inside? Not sure. You can see KL Central area there. There's St Regis, CIMB, St La Mediterranean and MetLife. all in the background there. So yes, as you can see, some construction over here. Also, when you are living in one place, rules change. I now have to pay tax in Malaysia, which is understandable and expected. And I'm now a tax resident here because I've been living here for more than 6 months. So that is something completely new to learn, how the tax system works here in Malaysia, especially for a foreigner. We do pay more tax here than in the UK, but I think that's a good thing. We're giving back to the society, to the place that we are living in, and I think that's really important. And I've just realised that I'm on camera way too much. You don't want to be seeing my face all the time. So let's show you some more of this park as I'm walking around and talking. By the way, I would love to know your thoughts on these walk and talk videos. Do you enjoy them? Do you have any questions? Is there anything that you would like me to show about living in Malaysia? Please let me know down in the comments. Nice little area down here. Got a windy path. Visa renewals, which is what I'm going through now. I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. But yeah, you have healthcare, insurance, bills to pay, utility bills, rent, sign rental agreements, all of the adult good stuff. I am lucky that I've moved in with my girlfriend and she already had an apartment being rented, and I was just added on to the rental agreement there and registered in the condo, that kind of thing. So for me it was very easy, but if I hadn't have got that, then of course I would have had to deal with all of that for the first time here in KL. Interesting little walkway here, not sure where it heads to, but we'll keep walking. Just noticed some people fishing over here. Looks like this building here might be a school, this one here. Don't want to point it in case there's any kids out and about, but yeah, nice tranquil little place. Other than the workers, I've not seen anybody here. As you know, I don't get involved in politics or religion. I just let people be what they want to be at the end of the day. I'm friendly with everybody and I don't get involved in any of that. But of course, when you live here, you hear about it, and it's just best to take a step back and realise that the world isn't perfect. No country in the world is perfect, but if I had to choose anywhere after living in Malaysia for a year, it would still be to live in Malaysia. I'm going through my visa renewal right now, and I absolutely love living here. This is something that I learned when I was travelling around the world. No country is perfect. Every country has its flaws, some more than others, of course. I'm not just saying this because I live in Malaysia, but it does have very few flaws. Of course, traffic is a big problem here. You know, it can get gridlocked very easily, take you an hour on a journey that should take you 20 minutes at the peak time. Sometimes the air quality isn't great because we get lots of burning of fields from Malaysia and also neighbouring countries. So those for me are probably the two biggest flaws about living here. But neither of them are particularly bad. I am lucky that I work from home. There's a shuttle bus that takes me to the MRT, so I can get around very easily. But if you were coming to live here, it's important to know about the flaws. And of course, there are other issues as a foreigner. For example, if you were wanting to buy a property here, you can only buy if you spend at least 1 million ringgits. And some attractions you have to pay a higher amount of money than a local. I kind of get that, It's not just Malaysia that does that. I feel Malaysia is probably copied from Thailand, who is notorious for that. So I genuinely love living in Malaysia, but I'm not going to do you a video and sugarcoat it. There are flaws about living in this country, and I'm sure people have got different flaws. We're all different. My lifestyle is probably different, not probably, is different than most locals, so I'm sure they can think of more things that are good and bad about living in this country. But I call this home now. I am happy here. I have a girlfriend here. I hope we'll see that my future is here. If me and her don't marry, which I feel we will, but if we didn't, I would go down the Malaysia my second home route. That's definitely a potential. I have to say, what's important, no matter where in the world you plan to move to, no matter if you're a local Malaysian thinking about moving to the UK, or you're from the UK thinking about moving to Thailand, embracing the cultures is important. And I say that as somebody who's dating a Chinese Malaysian. I've got involved in Chinese New Year and all of the festivities and cultural events that happen within the Chinese Malaysian calendar, and my girlfriend has started celebrating Christmas. And yeah, I think it's important that you do embrace the culture no matter where you are from, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed experiencing what it's like to celebrate Chinese New Year and all of these other cultural events. Something else you have to contend with when you are living somewhere compared with being a tourist is dealing with the household issues. Like, for example, when you have a leak or a blockage in your drains, you have to sort all of that out. When you are here as a tourist, you just leave that up to the Airbnb host or the hotel to sort out. For example, in our apartment, the little jet wash broke. It started leaking, so I had to go to Mr. DIY and fix that. You don't do that as a tourist. Let's now talk about my visa. So, as I mentioned, I'm on the Rantau nomad visa, which allows you to stay in Malaysia for 2 years. I stayed here for 1 year, and I'm now going through the renewal process to extend that by another year. After that, there are other opportunities for other visas, but right now I'm just going through the renewal process, and it is incredibly time consuming, and I'm not gonna lie, frustrating. Dealing with government departments, no matter where you live, and I'm not just talking about Malaysia, I'm talking worldwide, including my home city of Leeds in England. It's just so hard to communicate with them. So anyway, my visa runs out next Sunday, probably just over a week from when you're watching this video. And what I'm going to have to do is leave Malaysia so that I'm not blacklisted or fined, and then come back on a tourist visa. I am going to be flying with my girlfriend to the UK in June, so I'll just be here for another month before we go to the UK for a couple of weeks. And I'm hoping, praying, by the time we come back to the UK, all of my visa will have been sorted. Fingers crossed. When you're applying for a visa, especially this type of visa, there are so many government departments involved in it. It has to go to a panel. Let me just get out of the way of this bike. You have to go to a panel for it to be approved, and then it has to go to immigration. It's a long process, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no point really getting frustrated or stressed. It just is what it is. I have to say though, at the times that I've been able to get in touch with the staff who are dealing with the visa, they've been very friendly, very helpful. The challenge is getting through to them because there's a lot of people trying to apply for this visa. Of course, Malaysia is a very popular country. People want to live here. People want to, you know, to spend a year, 2 years living here. So there's a lot of people renewing at the moment. So yeah, it is, but of course, you know, there's no point being rude. You've just got to be professional and know that people are doing the best to get the job done as quickly as possible. That's the way I look at it. So what I'm doing next Friday is flying to Singapore. I'm going to spend a couple of days there, and then I am going to come back into Malaysia on a tourist visa, spend a month here, fly back to the UK, and let's see if it's all sorted by then. It might be that I have to remain outside of Malaysia when I'm due to come back to the country, but we'll just have to wait and see. If you remember, last year I had to spend about 5 weeks in Thailand before I could come back in, and I have a feeling that that might be something similar that I have to do this time around as well. So literally the only people that I've seen here are workers. No other people like me wandering around the park. You know, there are certainly easier options for me to live in one place. Like Thailand, you can get a retirement visa, you can get a nomad visa there, which is approved very quickly. In general, it's taking 4 to 5 months for people to apply for the visa here. And I agree with going through the checks that they have to go through. They want to make sure people are making money and going to bring money into the local economy through tax and rental and all of that kind of stuff, eating out, dining out, that kind of thing. So you need to do that, but I really don't know why it takes so long. When you compare Thailand, you know, maybe a month I think it is at the moment, less than that, to get the nomad visa there. But of course I don't want to live in Thailand, I want to live in Malaysia. But as I said, it's just one of those things that you have to deal with when you're living in a country which isn't your home country and you're here as a visitor, and you just have to go by the rules and processes. There's nothing you can do about it. And yeah, what a beautiful quiet park to come for a walk. I do wonder if it gets busier at night time or maybe the weekends, but today literally just me walking around the park. And I know my visa will be sorted out at some point, and in between that I'm lucky that I get 3 months here on a tourist visa, even though I don't need that on this occasion because I'm going to be leaving for the UK in June. But you just have to deal with these things. There's nothing you can do about it. It's the same if you were coming to live in the UK. You would go through the same amount of checks and processes and red tape and paperwork, and that's just the way of the world. It's not just Malaysia, it's anywhere that you're looking to settle down and live in. So yeah, that's just part of the thing, part of the process of finding somewhere outside of your home country that you want to live in. And I'm going to leave my video there for today. I hope that wasn't a little bit too ranty at the end. I guess it's just a bit of frustration with the visa, but it is what it is, nothing I can do about it. Just go with the flow. I'll be in Singapore next weekend. I'll have a video out from Malaysia next Friday. I'm going to try and do a video every Friday with the occasional bonus video during the week. And that's it for now. I'll be back next Friday with a new video from Malaysia. Until then, take care and don't forget to explore. Any questions? Down in the comments.